welcome to the Swim Chats podcast. I'm Shona Riddell, a writer, former journalist and ocean swimmer from Wellington, Aotearoa, New Zealand. For each episode, I talk to a different guest from our swim community. They're dippers, adventure swimmers, coaches and conservationists with one thing in common. They all love being in the sea. So before we start this episode, I just wanted to cover a couple of things. First of all, I want this podcast to be interactive. So if you have any questions, thoughts or suggestions, you can email me at swimchatswithshona@gmail.com or leave a comment below each episode. Also, this particular episode was recorded at the beginning of June, and it's the start of the Big Swim, which is a fundraiser for Coast Guard New Zealand. I'm taking part with a team called the Tridents. So if you'd like to learn more and support us, you can go to bigswim.org.nz/the-tridents, or just click on the link in the show notes. And finally, to support the podcast, please hit the follow or subscribe link so you don't miss an episode. You can also leave a rating and share it with friends. Thanks for listening, enjoy the water, and here's today's episode with ocean painter Ann Skelly. Exciting. This is my first in-person interview for the podcast. And we're at the New Zealand Art Show today, and I'm with Ann Skelly, whose paintings I admire a lot. Thank you for your time today, Ann.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And welcome to Swim Chat.
Thank you.
So it's looking very busy down there. Have you had a good few days with the art show?
I have. It's been terrific, actually. It's been really a boost for me to sell paintings and for people to love them so much. Yeah. And they're all paintings of the sea. So, you end up talking to people with an affinity for the sea, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
And this will be a good challenge to describe your paintings because this is an audio podcast. You paint seascapes, I think they're called. Is that right? So you're painting the sea in different moods, from choppy seas to calm seas.
That's right.
On sunny days, so the water's rippling in the sun.
Yeah, and in shade. And more recently, I've been creeping into shore a bit more and including some headland or beach or trees overhanging the beach, things like that. It feels that I've been out at sea with my paintings for quite a while, and I'm feeling more confident with those, just like swimming. So now I'm coming in closer to shore and exploring some of the land that meets the sea.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And have you been painting seascapes for a long time? Is this a new thing for you?
There was nearly always sea in my paintings. I've painted birds and then seabirds. I've been through a period of painting flowers, but really the flowers taught me about structure. And the sea, I kind of stayed away from painting the sea. I always had it in the background as a colour or just a gentle texture. But I shied away from it because I felt I couldn't do it, that I didn't have the skills to paint the sea properly, well enough. But with years and years and years of practice, I decided to tackle it head on. So I've deliberately been painting more of the sea, and I really enjoy it. And it comes into my swimming as well. I'll be swimming along and trying to analyse what I'm seeing on the surface of the water and what the shapes are like, what the colour and reflections look like. So, it's all part of the same thing.
So when you're painting, is it from memory of what you've seen?
Sometimes, but quite often I'll do sketches and I take hundreds of photographs. Some of them I never see again, but I'll cruise through all the photographs, and just one image might stand out as something I need to paint. Or I'll zoom right into that image and just take one section of a wave, and that's the part of the photograph that excites me, so I'll paint that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you live on Waiheke Island?
Yes,
right? So
surrounded by beaches.
Surrounded by beautiful beaches. I used to live in Auckland, and so I've spent a bit of time on Waiheke Island. Yeah. What's your local beach there?
Well, I swim at Palm Beach. We live in Ostend, so although the sea is at the bottom of the road, it's full of boats just there. It's a bit of some people live on their boats, and there's a lot of boats at anchor and on moorings. So I don't swim there. I drive 5 minutes up the road to Palm Beach, which I love. It's surrounded by cliffs on two sides. I swim there, and it's so close to home, and I can go home for a hot shower afterwards and then meet friends for coffee or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And do you have a studio that you paint from?
Yes, I've got a tiny studio at home with no view of the sea, but I've got all the things I need there to begin my paintings. Yeah. And I paint sometimes. We have a little boat, and I can paint when I'm on board or when we're away sailing. Yeah.
What's the water temperature at the moment at Waiheke Island?
Maybe it's getting down. It's started to drop temperature-wise, probably 16, something like that. Does that come
warmer than here? It's about 13 here at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I think the coldest it's been has been about 12 for us on Waiheke.
And do you get in the water most days, or?
Look, I've been swimming every day. I like to swim all year. I try to swim all year, but the winter months when it's beating with rain and it's horrible weather, and I've swum on my own for a long time. Sometimes it's just too much, and I call it quits for and have a few months off till, say, Labour weekend and start again. Then.
Are you part of a group, or do you like to swim by yourself?
No, I'm not part of a group. I like the freedom of being able to choose when I go, and it's been pretty much at dawn so that I can fit it in before the rest of my day starts. So the sun will be just coming up. But then more recently, a few weeks ago, I had a little incident where I was swimming with a friend, and I looked over her shoulder and there was a fin cruising past, and that was obviously a shark. And then I saw the tail behind that, and my face must have changed because my friend said, "What is it?" I said, "I think that's a shark." And she turned around and saw it. She said, "Yes, it's a shark. So let's go in." We both started. I turned onto my back and just quietly continued, but in the beach direction. We both got back to the beach, but it had been swimming alongside. It was swimming along with us. It didn't hurt us. It didn't touch us. But when we changed direction, the shark went underwater, which I didn't like because I couldn't see it. So we got in. We got into the beach, okay, got dried, and honestly, I didn't want to swim at dawn the next day. And then I realised, well, actually, that's when sharks feed as well, dawn and dusk. So I decided to go when it was sunny, and I don't mind the weather so much, but when it was mid-morning or lunchtime. So that's my tack now. I've stopped swimming at dawn, but I'm still swimming sort of only once or twice a week now because the weather's getting colder.
Sounds like you handled it very well. Like you stayed calm.
I was
your arms about.
No, that's right. I'd read not to do that. So I didn't shout or flap around, but I was surprised at how calm I was actually, but it was soon over and nothing happened. So but it did put me off. It did make me stop swimming at dawn for sure.
Made you think twice.
Yeah,
about
I might be back again at dawn next year, but it was just at that period of time where the clocks were about to be put back, and the mornings were quite dark. So my fault.
Have you always been a swimmer, or is that since you moved to Waiheke?
I'm not a strong swimmer, but I like, at Palm Beach, I made it a goal to swim from one side of the beach to the other, and I definitely couldn't do that to begin with. but with practice every day. And then a friend joined me who was quite keen and capable of swimming that distance. So I joined her, and because we were chatting and swimming alongside each other, it was easy enough to do that. So I started doing that on a daily basis. Yeah, and it makes you feel good. It's the exercise for the day.
It's a great way to start the day.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. And when I was swimming on my own, I would swim out far enough and then hold my breath, dive down to the bottom and touch my nose on the sand.
Oh, I love that.
And swim back up, which was, again, lovely to see the ripples in the sky above as you're coming up through the water. Yeah.
And those ripples, you
I can paint them.
Yeah, I was going to say that you represent them so beautifully in your painting.
Thank you.
And I've got one of your paintings called Beyond Reach, I think it's called. Yeah, and hangs on my office wall, and it's the sea rippling on a beautiful sunny day and the lights glinting off it, and you can see the pebbles on.
Yeah, and more recently I've been painting. I am moving away from the rough waves and painting more calm scenes. Recent painting was called Calmer Waters. And I think that's something we all need nowadays. So I'm really enjoying painting, not still water, but calmer, a lot calmer.
That's something I was going to ask you. Do the moods of the sea you're painting reflect your moods? So if the seas are choppy, are things sort of choppy in your mind?
If there's something in my life that's choppy, I suppose. But I think to stay calm and stay happy and not let the world's problems trouble me too much. I think it's therapeutic for me to paint calmer waters. Yeah.
It sounds like blue therapy. That's what it's called.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, when we look at the water or get in the water, I think it's known as blue therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's certainly a feeling of ease, isn't there, when you get in the water? It's just beautiful. It's a lovely feeling, and to float on your back and look at the sky just makes you feel part of the sea and part of the planet.
Yeah,
that's a lovely feeling. Yeah.
There must be a lot of swimmers on Waiheke Island, I imagine.
Yeah, and they go at all times of day. Yeah, I just happened to meet one person that was going at dawn, same time as me, and she always went. She swims all year. And then when her sister joined her, it was the sister I started swimming out a bit further with and going a bit further right across the beach.
That's awesome. And are there sort of marine conservation groups on Waiheke?
Oh, yes, definitely. And I've put in a submission myself for the marine reserve ideas that are moving forward very slowly. Yeah. But that's my total involvement really with that, apart from painting the sea, which,
And in the podcast show notes, we can share some links to your social media so people can see your paintings.
Oh, lovely.
And I love the way you create the reels. It's almost like the sea's animated when you're filming them. I don't know if that's still...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I've never... Well, I didn't realise that it looked like that to other people. But
and with the music and no, it's sort of like...
Yeah, I put some music in afterwards. It's been a learning curve being on Instagram and trying to put together interesting little reels. People seem to like to see me painting as well. So I try to do a bit of that. My husband bought me a stand for the phone so I can put that behind me when I'm working and film a bit of that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think people do like to get to know the artists too, don't they? And
yeah.
hear the stories behind the painting.
Yeah, definitely. And I just put casual comments by the paintings or explain what I'm doing and the process. So hopefully people will, they seem to enjoy that and make nice comments,
This might be a silly question from someone who's not an artist, but how do you know when a painting is finished? Does it just feel finished?
The painting tells you it's finished. There is a moment, with me anyway, where I could have been painting for weeks on one work, and then there's a moment where I just know it's like a full body feeling. I know it's finished and to put the brush down. Yeah. And I always hide a tiny, it's a stylized mouse, a line drawing a mouse in profile with its tail flicked up in the air and a little bow in the tail. And I always hide that in all my work. My dad was a architectural draftsman, and he would put this little mouse shape in his drawings. And I was keen on drawing, was always hanging off the side of his drawing board watching him. And he said I was allowed to use his mouse as long as I put a bow in its tail. And I've done that ever since. It's in every painting. Yeah.
That's a great little extra bit of information.
So when I come in in the evening and my husband says, "Have you moused it yet?" Because he knows it's finished when I put the mouse in. Yeah.
It's a verb in your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And before we started recording, you mentioned that you had a mermaid tail. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm a retired mermaid now.
Yeah.
But when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a mermaid as a career option. I didn't know it wasn't really a career option. I wanted to be a mermaid and would dream of having a tail. And I had very long hair then. And my dad made me a beautiful mermaid tail, and he drew on all the scales in permanent marker because they never faded. And I was allowed to wear it in the bath. It just fitted me perfectly, and I would lie in the bath and let my hair float around and wear this tail and splash it around a little bit, and it helped me think I was a mermaid. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
then when I was, I must have been 50, I think, when I got a custom-made mermaid tail made by the mer tailor who lives in Florida. And that's all he does for a job. He's got a lovely website with all these beautiful mermaid tails. So I sent all my measurements in, triple checking the measurements were correct, and had a custom-made mermaid tail. And I designed how I wanted the skin of it to look.
What did it look like?
It was kind of a little bit iridescent, but it was quite dark with the iridescence down the front and the back. Looked quite realistic, actually. Yeah, not a particular fish, but just dark with some shimmer, and all the scales were moulded into the 100% silicone. So I would put the tail on sitting on the sand and just in the shallows, get my feet properly into the tail fin, and there are little straps. There's a mono fin at the bottom of the tail, and I'd put the straps around my ankles and then wriggle into the rest of the tail because it's pretty tight fitting. And then I had a technique for getting into the water, but once I was in the water, I would swim out until I couldn't touch the bottom and stand upright. And when I was completely upright, all the bubbles of air in the tail would just race up to the top and come out of the waistband area. And then it was sort of glued to you. It just stuck to your legs, and you could swim. It was just beautiful. You moved along quite fast. I could swim along the ocean floor and just look at what was in front of me and just keep moving. Yeah, it was lovely.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Is there any underwater footage of you with your mermaid?
No, I didn't have any equipment to do anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would swim underwater a lot until I was too tired, and then come in. And we have a little boat, as I mentioned before. So I'd always take the tail with me on the boat, and just jump in off the back, sit on the duck boards, and then fall in. Yeah, and swim around the boat, and you could see the anchor line and just play in the water.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. One of the things I love about swimming and being in the sea is just being able to play as an adult.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. Well, I loved it. Never even thought about sharks back then. But yeah, I loved it. And I still got the tail, but both, I swam in it for about 10 years. But now both ankle straps have perished and can't be fixed as far as I can see, because they're right down at the bottom of the tail, which is too narrow to roll all the way back. So, yeah, I'll just keep it as a memory.
Yeah. Did you find it easier swimming with the tail than without it?
It's definitely faster, but now just swimming normally, but I just swim breaststroke. I think you get more exercise doing that. It's very liberating. Nothing hurts when you're in the water, no aching ankles or anything like that, because it's weightless, and it's just lovely to turn and twist around and almost dance in the water. It's lovely. It's very freeing.
Mm-hmm. There's a book which I haven't read yet, but it's by a New Zealand author called Megan Dunn about mermaids. I don't know if you've come across it.
No.
It's quite a new book, and so she travelled around interviewing people who are professional mermaids.
Oh, really?
And I think she tried on a tail and gave it a go.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've made tails for 2 of my granddaughters.
Oh.
Yeah. One of them was very interested, and I made her this quite detailed tail, and then I made a smaller one for her younger sister. And they sit in the paddling pool wearing them.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, or in the bath. Yeah, and they've all got mermaid dolls. It was definitely a theme running through and I've given them piggyback rides when I'm wearing my tail in the sea.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Would you paint mermaids?
I did used to paint mermaids. I went through a phase of painting mermaids underwater with waving weeds and lots of mermaid hair floating around. Yeah, I did a whole series of mermaids to get it out of the system. Yeah. Yeah.
And the shark, is that where you paint sea creatures that you come across in your swims as well, or is that more something you're happy to keep as a memory? And
no, I don't paint sharks. No, I don't. I've got no desire to paint sharks. I don't paint fish either, but I've done a long series of the New Zealand pied shag, because when we were boating, I would see them sitting up this tree in Coromandel Harbour, dozens and dozens of them, and we watched them all day going out fishing and flying back, and we'd kayak gently under the tree and take lots of photos. So I painted a lot of those birds. They've all long since sold, but yeah.
Where do you usually sell your paintings? Is it in galleries?
I have a little studio,
yeah,
and I sell some from the studio. The New Zealand Art Show, I've had a long gap when we moved we used to live in Wellington, and when we lived in Wellington, I think I did the art show for 7 years running. Then there's been a long gap when we moved to Waiheke, and I've done it this year and last year, 24 and 25. And I've really enjoyed it, so I'll continue doing that. But also now I have a gallery representing me in Sydney called Graphis Gallery in Mossman, and a Black Door Gallery in Parnell.
Oh, yes.
It has some of my work as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I didn't know you used to live in Wellington. Were you a swimmer then?
Yes, definitely. But I would go to the pools.
Right.
And I didn't know anyone when we moved to Wellington for my husband's job. And so I started swimming, and would go every day, and met up with a group of lovely women that we'd end up having coffee together afterwards, and it was nice to see them every morning as a regular thing. They were always there. You could have a chat and swim for lengths and lengths. And I started practicing for my tail, I think, for the mermaid tail, when I lived in Wellington. I bought a monofin and would swim a few lengths breaststroke, and then I'd practice underwater swimming wearing the monofin. Yeah. And they were all really supportive, thought it was Very funny.
Which pool was that? Was that Freiburg pool? Or?
Kilburney.
Oh, okay, Kilburney Aquatic Centre.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Oh, I could have taken you for a swim this morning. I was out in the harbour.
Oh,
It was beautiful.
Oh, really? I've swum once in my mermaid tail at Scorching Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I took my tail down there, and it was quite a still day, so I really enjoyed a little swim there. It was very early days for having the tails, so I was still practicing.
Nice golden sand around there. It's one of my favourites.
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah. Lovely and flat.
Nice cafe too for coffee afterwards, definitely. Which is important.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what else was I going to ask? What's your routine for painting? Like, what's a typical day for you in the studio? Do you paint sort of set hours?
Well, until very recently, I've had my early morning swim first, and then come home, have a hot shower, and go to. And I swam for maybe half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, and then after the shower, straight to the village for coffee with friends. And after coffee, straight to my studio. And then I'd be in the studio until 5 o'clock-ish every day. 5 days a week at least.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours in the studio, but it still is my happy place. I love getting into the studio after my swim, which makes me feel grounded, I think. The swim first and then the painting.
Do you listen to music while you paint?
I have the radio on. I listen to New Zealand radio and the BBC radio. Sometimes music. I've got I put Spotify on and listen to music. Yeah.
Is painting like a form of meditation? When you're painting the ocean, do you feel like you lose yourself when a painter?
Definitely. The hours just fly by because you're so engrossed in the painting. I often miss lunch because I haven't remembered lunch. I'm just engrossed in the painting and want to continue on. You know, it's a lovely challenge to have to finish the painting. Yeah, that's my day.
That's brilliant. And do you feel like you'll continue painting seascapes?
Everything has its own time. I'm really immersed in the seascapes. I'm really enjoying them. I can't see me not painting water now. So whether it's calm or waves, I just want to keep improving painting the water.
And it's different every day, isn't it?
It is. I think that's it for me now, but who knows? There could be a change of tack further down the road. Yeah.
Just check the time. Yeah, we've got a bit of time left. Is there anything you'd like to talk about that I haven't asked you yet? Particular painting you'd like to mention that you're especially proud of, or other art that you might do?
I think being in the gallery in Sydney, they only want to take large scale paintings, and I hadn't really painted that large before. Well, once or twice, but so that was quite a challenge, quite a mission to paint on that scale. It's just 1.5 meters by 1 meter, but that's large for me, for my studio, which is tiny. And I think I painted 2 of those canvases, which the gallery accepted, and then packaged them up and had them shipped to Australia. All very costly, but but it was worth doing. Yeah,
growing your audience.
Yeah, and I'd only come across the gallery because there was a water-themed exhibition advertised. So I entered. I don't normally enter competitions, but because it was water-themed, I thought, I could try this. And I sent them images of 2 recent paintings that I'd done specially, actually, for that. And one of them got in. I was a finalist in the competition, so I shipped that painting, and then I went over to see the exhibition myself. It was my birthday present, the flights, and I went to the opening night, which was really exciting. Met lots of lovely other artists who paint water. And and while I was there, they asked if they could represent me, which was fantastic. So that's why I ended up with some work in Sydney.
That's really exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. Yeah. They're part of Soho Galleries, and they have 2 galleries, I think, one in Woollahra, one in Mossman. So I'm in the Mossman one.
Yeah. When you're not working, do you still enjoy thinking about the sea, and do you read books about the ocean?
Oh, I'm always thinking about the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't fish on the boat. We're vegetarian mostly. I do eat some fish if someone else is cooking it, but we don't fish on the boat. I take photos, I sketch. In recent years, I've taken little prepared canvases and boards with me, and I paint when we're at anchor. If it's sitting on a calm sea, I paint sitting on the boat. Yeah, that works. If you're organised, take all the right things. Yeah.
Brilliant, Anne. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back to your very busy stand down at the New Zealand Art Show.
Oh, it was lovely to meet you and talk with you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you in person.
Great.
Thank you, Anne. Thanks for listening to this episode of Swim Chats. Please remember to follow or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you enjoyed it, you can leave a 5-star rating and review, which helps other people find it too. Enjoy the water, and we'll see you next time.